Welcome to End User Input. Today we have me, Tayson, Justin,
hi,
Jason,
Hey.
and Gehrig.
Don't forget Resident Badass, Tayson.
Resident Dickhead.
Redneck Badass, is that what you're going to say?
No, better yet, Redneck Dickhead. That's what I was going
okay,
with.
that works.
Okay. Today we have lots of interesting subjects that are going to come straight out of our brains for the most part.
That's just a polite way of saying we didn't do research.
No, that's the funny thing,
we
though.
did, though.
Like, normally
We
we
did.
don't do research, and this time, like,
We usually
have
we usually don't do research and pretend we did. This time we did research and are gonna pretend we didn't.
this time we did research and just came up with a whole lot of stuff that we were just like, meh.
Yeah, nerd.
Okay, first item for business. Discovery Channel has a new no more bullshit policy, which I haven't watched Discovery Channel in a couple years, but I guess they're doing terrible things lately.
I think this is great because
Yeah,
it's
That's an
like
understatement.
the stuff we've gotten recently was like, mermaids, are they real? Mermaids, they're evidence. Mermaids, look in the ocean, you can see them. Like that's all you got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and
and
there was a
then
bunch of shit on like Bigfoot too.
Yeah,
Bigfoot,
it's just like,
and they had two. I think they had two Megalodon documentaries. Like, oh, could it be real? That should be a really quick show. No.
Yeah. Could it be real? No. Tune in next week for another answer.
Well, I mean, there were like a bunch of experts and stuff that were pissed because through the magic of editing, which all of us probably know a fair bit about, they were making the experts say shit that the experts didn't say that made it look like they were like, oh, it could be real.
Yeah, because experts always do that scientific thing where they're like, acknowledge the other side of the argument, and now say my argument.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so there was a whole bunch of things about that. And then, yeah, just Discovery's been crap, so I'm really happy to see this. I just wish History Channel would
and
follow
then
suit.
didn't they just for Mythbusters, didn't they get rid of the other three?
They
Yeah.
did. Cary Grant and
Yeah,
Tori, yeah.
that is
We
amazing.
actually talked about that.
Like they're
on
cool
the
people,
podcast.
but I'm happy to have my Adam and Jamie back.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. The only one of those three that was really worth anything was probably Grant, as far as the like actual science of stuff.
Yeah. Which I mean,
and they always had him off in a corner building a robot.
yeah, the other two I think knew a fair amount, but it wasn't nearly to the level of Grant, and even he isn't to the level of Jamie and Adam.
Adam and Jamie.
Yeah. Like they like I never came away feeling like I actually knew how things went with them. Whereas Jamie and Adam's like occasionally I'd have like a small discrepancy, but like other than that it was like, yeah, they did good.
Yeah.
So that's cool, you know.
Yeah.
Discovery Channel. TV's not going to be such horrible bullshit anymore.
Well,
Well, it will.
it's gonna
but
be
just on a
pretty
different
close.
channel.
Yeah, but there's going to be,
There's gonna be
something that I can
one-
actually turn to.
Yeah, there'll be one shining beacon in the just abyss of darkness.
You're looking at the asshole of the universe, kids. But like, here's what pissed me off about all those shows, though. Like, does Bigfoot exist? It's like there was 0 point watching them, and this is a point that was brought up by one of my old teachers. But it's a really good point that if they had actually found any of this shit, you would have heard about it long before that show came out.
Exactly.
in like a paper published in National Geographic or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like, mermaids fucking exist, guys. Oh my god.
Yeah,
So you
because they're not
make like this-
gonna. Nobody on that adventure, if they find anything, is gonna be quiet and be like, "Oh, we're gonna wait for this video to come out because we'll make a little bit off this video." They're gonna be writing articles and books, and they're gonna make millions.
Yeah.
Instead of
Time
like,
I saw a mermaid.
Yeah,
Instead
no,
of waiting for
let's-
the video and making like, I made 10 grand. It's like you'll write books and shit, and you'll make millions of dollars
Yeah.
if you ever find anything.
Yeah. Well, and like I remember the last decent documentary I watched on Discovery of the does this creature exist was when they were doing a big special on the giant squid.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time they'd ever actually had like footage of one of these.
yeah, it's the first time they've actually done a thing. Does this exist? Where it, actually existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like they had evidence in the carcasses that they exist, but this was like the first video of a live one anyone had ever captured.
Yeah, but I mean, asking does it exist when you've seen carcasses of these animals, it's like
good chance.
Well,
yeah,
it's like that just spontaneously like appeared on the beach. You know,
it just formulated out of nowhere.
Just in that kind of like, does it exist? Like, is it still around? Are these things living creatures that are still here? Did the last two, happen to wash up on a beach kind of way?
I mean, it could just be a one-off mutation. That shit happens.
Yeah,
but
but
I mean, it's just like, imagine if you found a imagine polar bears didn't exist, just for sake of argument, and you find a white bear. You'd say, "Aha! It's the Yeti." Well, what if it was just what if it was just a completely albino bear?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, honestly, that's one of the things that kind of pissed me off about Uncharted 2.
Oh,
like, and I love that game. That game's great.
Yeah,
but like, when I was playing it, like, you face off against these Yetis, and because this is
North
the kind
American cousin, the Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, and this is the kind of game they've set up a world where this kind of shit exists, right? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they were really hard to kill and really scary. Turns out it was dudes on drugs in suits. And I'm just like, fuck you.
What's wrong
Just
with
take
that?
all the magic out of it.
I just find, like, I love the thought of cryptozoology. Like, I really, like...
Yeah.
Thinking about cool creatures that don't actually existing, I have a lot of fun with. Yeah. But like in fiction, when it's like, no, this cool, like when a fictional thing presents me with something that's like, oh, this is kind of real in this universe, and then basically pulls a fucking Scooby-Doo on my ass, I don't like it.
Here's
my problem with that is that game nowhere else gives you an inkling that the mystical and superstitious might be real. It's them appearing, you're like, oh, I guess there's these things in this world. And it's like, no, it's the normal world. It nowhere else alludes to the fact that, oh, there might be some mystical shit in this world.
Not counting the giant tree that produces the weird drug effect that makes the Yeti guys and the weird zombie pygmy fuckers from the first game.
Fair point. I'm gonna shut up now. Kind of forgot about that. I feel a little stupid now. So, you know what? Agree with you now. I totally agree. You're absolutely correct.
That's not like any sort of weird magic.
Not at all.
Not at all.
What?
Anyways, let's change to a topic where I don't look like an idiot.
So batteries.
Well, Justin has one last thing.
Okay. I was just gonna mention like the difference between like the Discovery Channel and the History Channel and their like speculative shit, and like the Science Channel is almost been relegated to the Stuff Channel by now.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about it is when they're like, they do a lot of stuff about potential astrobiology, like, oh, there might be building blocks of life here, and then they'll talk about it. But one thing I like about that Discovery Channel completely fails at is they keep reminding you this is just speculation. With the stuff on the Discovery Channel, like, I watched a whole thing about, like, a man-eating super snake or whatever. I didn't see one goddamn snake the whole time. They took an hour of my life and no snake in return.
Yeah.
Bastards.
They didn't even show you, like, a normal boa or anything?
Well, okay, no, wait, no, you're true. No, okay, they showed me the little piddly, but what I mean like a snake, I mean like a real snake.
Yeah, like fucking from Anaconda the movie.
Yeah, I would have even handled a shittily modeled CG snake at that point. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
One that doesn't actually slither, it just like it just moves.
It just slides.
It's like, well, that's a really smooth snake,
I'm imagining that snake going through the grass. Just
oh man,
it's basically
it actually leaves a trail.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay,
sorry.
So there's a cool new battery come out that I don't really know my shit on, but it charges in 2 minutes supposedly. Someone talk about it.
I think that's
made by
awesome.
some Israeli firm. Is what they've been doing research on it. Right now, just big picture on it. It's it doesn't have quite the energy density as current lithium-ion batteries.
So it wouldn't last quite as long.
Yeah, like for instance, the one in like say an average person's phone, yours or mine, might have 2,000 milliamp hours. So about right worth of energy stored.
Yeah.
Their current prototype has about 900, so a little bit under half.
Yeah.
So, and also it's much bigger, you know. But keep in mind, this is their prototype unit. They expect to have these things out, I think it said, by 2017 or 2016.
Yeah, 2017 is their target.
Do either of you guys know anything more about the actual, because they throw around the term nanodots, and when I looked at it, they talk about it being some kind of peptides, which are like really, really tiny proteins or something. But the thing is, they don't tell you much.
Yeah, I don't know anything more than what you've said, although the one thing that I wanted to kind of point out is the fact that, like you said, their current prototype is 900 milliamp hours, which the fact that it's so small is going to kind of help with that fast charge time. I mean, 2 minutes is still super quick for 900 milliamp hours, but the smaller the battery, the faster it charges. So
you wouldn't mind having to charge it 3 times a day if each charge took 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think I still would.
Well, it's better than when your phone starts dying right now and you're tethered to a wall for hours at a time because it won't keep a charge.
Yeah, well, but people have kind of solved that with, they've marketed it under different names, but it's a Qualcomm, like, Turbocharge 2.0, I think is the name for it. It doesn't charge all the way, but in, like, 15 minutes, you can get, like, 50 or 60% charge, which, that's plenty to go about your day. And that's admittedly in most new smartphones, so. Yeah.
And I just, like, my phone's a piece of shit because I kept dropping it. But,
that'll do it.
Like, the battery was going, so I replaced it. It was $8 for a battery that, like, just because my phone's so shitty, it like, still eats a charge in a day. But, like, I was charging it 3 times a day. So, with the old battery. So I'm like, hey, and that was only $8.
Well, to be fair, you were using a very, very popular phone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
See, my phone's battery is going to crap. I have to charge it about at least 2 times a day. I have the HTC One M7, the first one.
Yeah.
But when my battery dies, it's not replaceable, so I
that's like
get a new phone. And that's not $8.
No, it's not. It's several hundred.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like what pisses me off right now is because, like, my screen is basically cobweb at this point.
It's artistic.
Yes.
It's art.
Yeah. It's ugly enough to be modern art.
That is life, man. That is life as art.
Yes, that's true.
Cracked screen.
I'll frame it when it finally dies.
It has to be one word, just cracked. You know?
Yeah.
But like, what kind of pisses me off is like and I know the screen's an integral part of the mechanic, but like it costs as much as a new phone to replace the screen, and I'm like, it's not worth it to replace the screen.
Well, super integrated devices like that, I mean, it's to get the advantages of having everything super integrated. I mean, like you look at integrated circuit boards, it was the same argument they had back then when they started making these, because it's like, oh, one component dies and really the whole board is thrown away.
Yeah.
But it is more cost effective. It does work. But the thing is, for people like when it happens to you, when a part component fails, it's just shit. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least you can still use yours.
The screen like cracking thing is actually one thing that I like about the iPhone and the Apple Store is they don't tell you about it, but apparently if you go into an Apple Store with a cracked screen, they'll just replace it for free on your iPhone. Like, at first they'll be like, oh, you should probably get a new phone, and you can just be like, no, I just want the new screen, and they'll just take it in the back and put a new screen on it, and you'll be on your way, and it's
That
free.
is literally the only reason I have ever considered getting an iPhone since I got rid of my iPhone 3 5 years ago.
Yeah, so that's actually kind of a cool thing that they do, but I don't think any of us have iPhones, so none of us probably really care.
No.
Nope.
You know,
no iPhone here.
One other thing I wanted to kind of mention, because you mentioned that your phone, your HTC One, doesn't have a removable battery, and I just got one. Neither does mine. Well, not one of those. I got a Sony Xperia Z3 Compact.
Awesome.
It has an internal battery as well, and I'm just.
But it's also water resistant.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's got. Trust me, there's a reason I got it, but that's beside the point. So I'm like dreading when the battery starts running down. But one thing I've noticed, because this is a fairly new phone, the battery life on it is amazing.
Yeah.
If I didn't turn this thing on, just left it there to receive calls and messages, I could leave it on for well over a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they got the stamina mode for things where they shut off stuff. It's just like in laptops just recently they had a thing where discrete graphics cards used to drain people's batteries, and what they did is they says, oh, well, we're gonna finally put in some technology to turn off that circuitry when it's not in use.
Yeah.
So that, I think, combined with something like this, the decreased load needed to do the same type of things, and then with a battery that can recharge quickly, even if it doesn't have the same...
Though, let's be honest, you wouldn't exactly be qualified as, like, a power user.
No. Oh, hell no, dude. Well, but I do a lot of music streaming and stuff, but it's like, no, I'm not, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
No, I will not.
It's like my Luddite is showing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like, not gonna lie, I'm still just kind of like jumping for joy at the fact that like I can text you when I need something.
I know.
from you.
It's like the first week or so. It's like I'd send him a message and I'd be like, "Oh, by the way, I can just do this now." But one other thing I wanted to mention about this, so I don't get us too far off topic, was the chargers right now. They mentioned in here correctly that most chargers now run about 1 to 2 amps.
Yeah.
Off wall sockets, and what they do is the thing that allows them to charge so fast is they just need to up the amperage, because you're not going to change the voltage really on the charging. So to get the extra energy transferred, you need to raise the current. Well, 40 amps is quite a lot of current to charge something.
Like you'd feel that on the end of the charger.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay. Next thing. Haha. Obama likes cheap internet.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
The moves that have started to happen as of recent, where the FCC chairman Wheeler was like came out at CES and was like, "This is a thing that needs to happen. We need to reclassify." Basically,
which, considering he's in so many people's pockets, means his paycheck just got a lot less.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're like, "You're cool."
Well, yeah, but like a million different people complained.
Well, okay, not cool, but like
he's on the right track.
You buy him a beer.
Yeah.
Basically, he wants to side with Comcast and all them, but so many fucking people are watching him and being like, "Hey, don't you fucking dare!" That he's like, "Guys, I can't do it. I'm gonna lose my job. I have to do what the people are telling me for once."
Yeah,
that's what.
And then Obama just unveiled his initiatives, like he set up the committees and shit to start having like incentives for smaller ISPs, like municipal internets, because he's like it's good to see upper politicians finally realizing, wait, maybe the reason we're behind Japan and Korea and all those isn't because we're not teaching properly, because that's all of the bullshit educational plans that don't work.
It's like, not that we're not teaching properly, because we aren't.
Yeah.
But
it's like they keep installing these new programs to try to catch up with Japan on math, and I'm like, you're never gonna do that because they go to school 7 days a week and have 3 hours of homework every fucking day.
Yeah.
But like they've kind of started figuring, wait, maybe the reason why is because we can share information that much slower than them,
which is definitely part of it. But it's definitely great to see somebody high up, which in the government, whether you like him or not, Obama's the highest up there is right now.
With surprisingly little power, but that's beside.
Yeah, well, welcome to America, everybody. But anyways, but he's coming out and advocating. It's like, hey, we need fast and cheap internet, because right now, not only are our speeds slow, but we're paying a ridiculous amount for them. And reclassifying ISPs as Title II utility companies is really going to help, because not too long ago, before Wheeler came out and said that they were definitely looking at that, Google wrote, I think, an opinion, or it might have just been a comment to the FCC.
They had a filing with the FCC.
They had a filing with the FCC where they were saying, like, hey, reclassifying as Title II, which even Google doesn't, like, Google as an ISP doesn't really want to be fully classified as Title II, but they were kind of letting the FCC know that, hey, if you do that, that allows people like us who, even though Google's massive as far as an ISP goes, they're pretty small time, that gives us access to all the public utility poles and conduits and stuff, and makes us rolling out our awesome network way cheaper and way quicker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because right now they have to...
Good for everyone.
Yeah, and other ISPs can do that, which would be great.
Well, and I'm looking at the graph that the president's office put out on internet download speeds. I want to say average by city, and it's like Korean places I can't pronounce. Tokyo,
okay, Seoul, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Paris. They're all well over 1,000 megabits per second.
Yeah, they're a gigabit or more.
Yeah, a gigabit or more. And then like the big cities where Google is rolling out
is that a gigabit?
Have gigabit. But like AT&T just rolled out gigabit in
my complex,
Dallas and Austin.
Yeah.
But like then it's got like LA is getting 500 and San Francisco is getting 200, and I'm sitting here like celebrating the fact that Comcast just barely went up to its default being 105.
Yeah.
Well, I have 8.
Yeah, well, you live in a podunk town in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, but where I live, and I'm getting I'm getting 12 right now, but I mean, really, you get like...
But, like, if you wanted to pay $80-$90 a month, you could get 50.
If I wanted to pay $90 a month through the people I'm using now, I could get 40.
Yeah.
And that is
really?
the highest they get in my area. And then the funny thing, one of the more depressing things I think about this ISP, no competition causing stagnation of the marketplace is... Because just recently I've been looking into options of changing my internet service provider. And the funny thing is, there's no real good central repository for information about who serves your area.
Yeah.
Really, it's like, that. Why isn't there an app for that, if you will? Or someone with a website? There is no recourse for people. It's like, these people serve my area. Well, I'll never know about it. They won't get my business, and then they'll die out.
Yeah, honestly, the city, the city website should have like a graph of that. It's like these are all of the different areas that are in our jurisdiction essentially, and here's all of the utility providers for the different utilities in your area.
See,
but internet's not a utility yet, though. So
it's still a utility. It's just not a public utility. Like it's still classified as a utility. It's just I think under Title I right now instead of Title II.
Yeah, see, where like I find it funny that you're talking about prices like that. Like, whereas right now where I live, right here, it's like the slowest speed you can get, like for pretty cheap, is 105. Like, I think that's one of the slower speeds up here now.
Is that 105 megabits per second?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's only $50 a month.
That's insane.
That's bullshit.
I pay $70 for my 8, and that's 8 down and only 2 up.
Jeez. I'm sorry. Well, you see, like, all of that's coming off of, like, Google maybe eventually coming to solid.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't look at
in Texas. It sucks unless you live in Austin, because they just barely got gigabit where I'm at. But we can only get it through AT&T. We cannot get internet anywhere else because they like signed contracts with the complex and everything. And it's like that happens a lot down here where you can only get one person because you're just in a section, and it's like you can't. What the fuck? You can't do that.
Yeah, that's the free market. Stop.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, that type of thing needs to stop where a company just limits like what people can have in that area. Because like they'll sign contracts. It's like, only Comcast can service these areas. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes it's not even per complex. It's like actual address blocks. It's like, Comcast has a contract over this. Time Warner has a contract over this. Whatever else is out there has a contract over the next thing. So it really terrible. Sucks.
Whereas if you ask me, like, honestly, like, if I lived in a place and there was 2 internet companies, even if they're not in my area, I should be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I want your internet, and then they be required to somehow at least help me out to get it.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Because they do that now with phone lines where, like, a company, if you don't want to go through a certain company, other companies can lease those lines and that traffic and provide you service with phone or DSL. Like, you can do that, but you can't do that with internet, which I kind of get, because you don't want, like, AT&T doesn't want Google using AT&T's fiber lines.
Yeah.
I understand that, but it would be nice if there was some sort of, how about, all the subsidies that we give to the ISPs for what telephone was before, how everybody had to have access to telephone, that nobody gives a shit about anymore. How about we take all those subsidies and give it to companies so they can deliver internet to places.
So if you live in a place like Moab, you can call up, Comcast or whatever and be like, hey, I want your internet service this fast, and then they have the resources to put it out there.
Kind of.
And and you may be the first one, but that still opens up money for them.
They
what I mean?
But they could.
Yeah. They have no they have no reason not to, because as long as it's a reasonably populated area, especially with where there's hotels and shit down in Moab.
They don't though. There is no Comcast out here. They won't they won't contract the lines from the companies that are out here. They're like, yeah, that's not worth it for us. Yeah. So we just have those local places, and the local places are just like, well, you can only go through us, so why would we be good? You're gonna have to pay us either way.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It would incentivize and cheapen Comcast, getting shit out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm only using Comcast as a cipher here
because Comcast is shitty, and I don't care if they're 10 times or 30 or 100 times faster than what I'm getting now. I would never have Comcast.
They're better than AT&T. I can just tell you that.
Well, I don't doubt that, but it's still Comcast. I don't want Comcast, AT&T, or Verizon. I would take one of them if I had to, I guess, but I would
that may soon be your option.
Yeah, well, I would like a local municipal internet or Google Fiber. I don't generally trust Google with a lot of stuff anymore, just because they suck up so much information. But I'd give them my internet connection.
I was just going to start mentioning municipal internets, because I don't want to drag everyone into a discussion about capitalism versus the government can't do anything. It's like, what, you want the internet to move at the speed of government? That bullshit. Point is, I really think that it's a good idea. Simply, if at anything, to give people a fail-safe choice, because just like you said with Google, the problem with Google is they're so good at what they do, both technologically and at leveraging their business capital, that they can engineer environments where it's not necessarily that they have a chokehold. It's not like they have to intimidate people into doing what they want. They just make it so much easier for people to do things their way that everything else dies out. Yeah. And people say, well, that's good. That's the free market. Yes, but...
You kill everybody with
that's
convenience.
Also incredibly scary.
Yeah.
And if you talk about how, I've been looking at Google Fiber, and I have mixed feelings about it very much, because I look at it and say, this is great because it will put some pressure on existing telecoms to beef up their infrastructure, lower their prices, do better service. But at the same time, I look at the dominance that Google has in practically everything. This phone that I just got, that I just mentioned, I'm having many, many problems with the fact that they have made it. It's Android being open source is not really open source if you really look at it.
Yeah.
It's Google integrated to a T.
So if they get the actual physical lines, that scares me.
You have to, Jason, as far as the phones go, just to touch on it, the Android you get that comes on your phone isn't actually open source, but you can get ROMs that are based on the Android open source project.
Yes.
And those are really open source. You don't even have to ever touch Google's the Google Play Store, their marketplace. You can never even touch that if you go with a ROM or just root your device. So you can make it to where you don't have to deal with Google, but stock, just what you buy at the store, if you get an Android device, you're dealing with Google. So I see what you're saying, for sure.
No, and the thing is that, yes, and that's exactly what I thought I was going to do. But it turns out that even though they've unlocked, they allow you to unlock the bootloader in this phone that I've got, if I do so, I lose DRM keys. They're wiped. Not really for any reason, because it's not like you could copy, or it's not like you're going to be doing anything. It wipes the DRM keys, so my camera's post-processing algorithms go to shit. So pretty much... the ability to play a PlayStation 4 remotely is gone. Yeah. Among other things, there's a whole laundry list. So I can choose to have root on my phone and run a custom ROM with pretty much destroys the firmware. Huh. Or I can run in their little sandbox.
Huh. Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah. So, but my point is that kind of thing happens, and it just kind of gets swept under the rug. But how that applies to this, as long as they play nice. okay, and like if there's municipal stuff to kind of give people who say, okay, no, wait a minute, we don't like what you're doing. We're going to take this shitty 10 megabit per second municipal stuff for a while just because we can.
Well, honestly,
but
municipal
even 10
internet,
megabit is like
go ahead.
Good enough to run Netflix.
Yeah.
So
well, and what I was going to say was municipal internets are actually getting better now. Most municipal internets are at a gigabit. That's why people are fighting for them, is because they're like, look, if we do this ourselves as just a municipal like conglomeration thing, we can give ourselves gigabit internet and it will be cheap and everybody will have it and it'll be awesome. So that's why people are really fighting for it, because in some places it's technically illegal to do that. So that was one of the things that I think Obama said in his like little release or press conference or whatever the hell it was he wants the FCC to look at lifting the restrictions on municipal internets.
Yeah. Well, so that it's not illegal to set up your own shit.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I know municipal, that's why I really like the idea a lot, because it's just among things like, I wish we had some sort of online repository like Wikipedia that was taxable, that, was provided by taxes. But yeah, I was just talking, even if it was really shitty, even if the naysayers of municipal internets had their predictions turn true, it would still be nice to have as an alternative.
Absolutely.
But
Now see, just to err on the conspiratorial side, see, the companies, they're afraid, that, like, more information to the public means they might make a sliver less money.
Which
honestly won't hurt anyone. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, rather than seeing, oh wait, everyone has access to all of our shit. What?
Yeah.
Like, they don't view it like that, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Yeah. They definitely don't.
Anyway, next subject. So apparently, Mac's starting to have just as many like security hole bullshit as PCs are with their new with the new virtually undetectable virus. Gehrig, you wanted to talk about this one.
I think it's hilarious, mostly just because Mac was always coded as like, we're unhackable. There's nothing you can do to our computers that will ruin it. And it's like, yeah, but there's viruses that can just run around your computer and you can't find them. Never mind, whatever.
Yeah. It's honestly, normally I love to just make fun of Macs, but this one isn't. I read through the article. And this one isn't as big a deal as it makes out to seem. Not because it's not really detrimental. Like, this can, like, do keyloggers and take over a machine and everything. And it can't be removed by reinstalling the operating system or replacing the hard drive. Like, this is into the firmware of, like, the BIOS chip and the stuff that, like, the physical stuff. You basically have to get a new machine. And the way this one works is it's a Thunderbolt hack. Like, you hack the firmware of a Thunderbolt adapter and then plug the Thunderbolt drive in. And I might be using the wrong terms for like some of the things here, but you just plug it in and turn the computer on, and since Thunderbolt is based on PCI Express, it initializes that first and asks if it has any ROMs that it needs to run in order for it to function properly when the computer boots up, and so it will just run that ROM from there, and then your computer's infected. But the thing is USB has the exact same issue with certain USB controllers. I can't remember which ones they are. I think it was a Marvell controller. Some of you probably really don't give a shit. Some of you might really, really care. But I think it was a Marvell USB controller. You could do the exact same thing, and it would be essentially the exact same exploit. So PCs have the same vulnerability. I think it's really funny that Mac has it, because they really tried. They always do try and say like, "Oh, we're so superior as far as security goes," and they're really not. No. And it's especially funny because this one is specifically Thunderbolt, and that's really funny because Mac, like a ton of Mac users, were super excited and like really try and rub that in PC users' face, like, "Oh, we have Thunderbolt," which, don't get me wrong, Thunderbolt's awesome. It is the fastest external connection essentially right now. Yeah. But it does have its flaws, and we're seeing that now.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I've just always I like Macs well enough. I mean, they do work quite well, especially if you have a machine dedicated to something such as editing or whatever. But, I don't know. I've just never been a huge fan of the whole, spend $2,000 extra on a computer that can actually do less than you might want to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's my main complaint against Macs. I mean, I personally don't like the operating system. There's nothing really wrong with the operating system. I just don't like it.
I hate the fact that you have to actually like enable the right-click function.
That's kind of annoying, but I mean, you can do that. The main things that, like, because there are some things I like about Mac. They do use really good hardware inside usually. Because, I mean, it's the same hardware you're going to find in a PC, Windows PC as well. I mean, most of it's going to be Intel-based and NVIDIA graphics and all that stuff. I think Mac's actually in AMD graphics now, but I like the design, like the unibody aluminum design of, like, the MacBook Pros and stuff like that. Their design is great. It's a really good design. But their price is way too high. And their functionality isn't that much better. So for the same price, you get a Windows machine that's actually way more powerful. That's my main complaint. Is price for price, the Windows machine wins.
Yeah. Well, and like I do a lot of digital media stuff, like especially with Adobe right now, because I have the Creative Cloud, and like the only problem I ever have is sometimes my computer will read my audio interface wrong, and it won't do all of the sample rates. That is the biggest problem I've had.
Yeah,
and that's not a big problem. It's a quick restart and you're done.
Yeah, that is a problem with Microsoft, though, especially with like USB interfaces, because most USB audio interfaces use like it's a universal standard of like USB audio 2.0 or something like that. Linux supports it, OS X supports it for like the past several versions. Microsoft still doesn't support it.
Yeah. So, well, I'm on FireWire, admittedly.
Okay,
but,
see, FireWire should actually work properly with stuff like that, but I mean, it is Windows. Windows does have its share of problems. I'm not gonna be person that comes on here and be like, "Oh, Windows is amazing. It has no issues." It's got a lot of freaking issues. But
I have a lot of issues. I'm just like. I'm talking purely from, like, my digital media editing and audio setup. Yeah. That's the only problem I ever have. Yeah. Whereas, like, just to use Rooster Teeth as an example, because I've been listening to them a lot lately. Shout out to them. Yeah. Love you guys. They are always bitching about how this Mac or that Mac broke down and screwed something up.
And it's the funny thing is it's mostly the new Mac Pros,
the
like
trash
cans ones, and it's specifically. Again, we're gonna talk a little bit about specific people at Rooster Teeth. Gavin on I think it was the last podcast, was talking about his Mac Pro that's $8,000, and he's like, it's kind of a piece of shit. Like he likes it, but he hates it.
Yeah, he likes it, but like he said specifically, he would never use it like at home as a general PC.
Yeah. Like didn't the Achievement Hunter mostly switch to PC?
They're mostly on PC now because Ryan's on PC.
That's what I figured.
Ryan's on PC. Ray went on back to PC about the same time, and then I think Michael followed those guys to PC. So it's pretty even split right now.
Yeah. Well, let's be just completely honest, though. And you notice Justin's oddly silent on this matter. Cause,
I'm just letting you guys have a ball right now, man.
But, like, the biggest reason is because for so long, the industry standard was Final Cut Pro for video editing, especially. Whereas now, the Creative Cloud on Adobe works so well and is so ubiquitous and so easy to get a hold of.
It works pretty well, although, again, with Rooster Teeth, specifically Brandon, I think was on the last podcast, was talking about how he constantly has problems with Adobe. Which I think it's mostly in like the verification that's like, hey, you do own this. I think that's the problem he said he was having. I might be wrong, which I can see that, but that'll get fixed.
Yeah. But like I'm just saying, like it cost me like I'm sharing one.
Isn't it like
Gehrig.
$20 a month?
Yeah, it's like $20-$30 a month. And it gives you every Adobe program out there.
Every one of them.
No, if you want the full Creative Cloud, it's like $50-something a month, unless you're student and teacher edition, which is
but that's much better than like $250 for Adobe Photoshop. Back in the day.
Photoshop being $250, I think is a little generous. That's probably like $5.
I know, but I'm just making.
I know.
Yeah.
Even at an underballed for one product.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I'm just saying, like, it's so easy to get a hold of that, like, all of the best editors coming out of, like, college and stuff, just because it's easier to get a hold of, are going to know Adobe better on average.
They'll probably know Adobe, and if they're training for, like, professional work in feature films, they'll probably actually know Avid more than Final Cut.
Oh, true. They do use a lot of Avid setups.
Avid is one of the most widely used, like, actual professional Hollywood editors, I think, right now. Editing system.
Well, and a good decent portion of that is because of its integration with Pro Tools, which all of the professional audio guys use. Like I always love getting into discussions about audio programs because everyone's like, no, but this one's just as good and that one's just as good. But I just kind of sit there and think, but no one gives a shit if you can use it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. That was good discussion.
Good discussions. All right. Yeah.
Roundabout way of saying it, but yeah.
So, okay, now just for the last little bit here, we're just gonna ring in the new year, as this is our first podcast of 2015. Happy New Year.
A little late.
With our favorite things of 2014 and our looking forward to of 2015.
Well, it's not necessarily our favorite things of 2014.
It's
it is
just
things of
things.
2014
It's
because
things
we
of
like
2014.
here on End User Input, we like to bitch quite a bit. And
Welcome
bitching,
to today's bitchcast.
Yes, bitching is much funner than. Well, actually, no. It's kind of fun going either extreme.
It's fun yelling at each other for the sake of yelling at each other.
Either extreme. We love yelling. So today we are going to talk about things of 2014.
Yeah.
Which I can remember surprisingly little of personally.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we figured this out beforehand.
I'm gonna go ahead and go first on this because all my things of 2014 are actually things that I liked. So first is Dragon Age Inquisition, which I believe did come out in 2014. I played it in 2015, but it was a 2014 title.
So you've played it in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, actually I have. I've marathoned that game like goddamn crazy. I
want to say it came out in like September.
Yeah, I love that game. It's great. It does have some bugs, which is kind of annoying, and we'll touch on.
But it's huge and it's BioWare. That was to be expected.
But it was a really fun game. A lot of people were saying it was the best of the series. I don't think it's better than Dragon Age Origins, but it is really good and brought a lot of stuff back from the previous two games, especially if you use their Dragon Age Keep website to tell Inquisition how you played the past two games. So
yeah,
it was really
that's cool.
And definitely would be my favorite game of 2014. Like I said, I didn't play it in 2014, but that's when it came out.
Yeah, that's one I've been wanting to check out.
It's good.
I'm waiting until I actually have a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's on the last gen consoles, but I played it on PS4.
It is, but like my computer's just on the old side because that's what I would prefer to get it on as computer.
Yeah.
But like I'm just like there's a lot of titles like Alien, Isolation. Like just a lot of games like that I'm like, I really want to play you, but I really want to play you on the newest shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I want you to look really good.
And then so after that was my favorite video game of the year of 2014. My favorite television show of 2014 is actually an anime called Tokyo Ghoul. Really good, actually fairly short. Great story. Apparently, if you've read the manga, you don't really like the show. Apparently, it's not nearly as good, which...
Can you name an anime in which people don't say that?
I could probably think of one, but it would take a while. But
yeah, exactly.
But it was really good. Pretty gory, so if you don't like gore, definitely don't watch it, because, dear God. But I really like
Animated Blood. Check.
Yeah, I really, really like that show, and that probably is my favorite show of 2014 out of everything. So really like that.
Yeah.
Next thing of 2014 that I really liked is the YouTube channel Tek Syndicate. They've been around for quite a while, but I think I just started following them in 2014, and I really like their content. They're really, really cool, chill guys. A lot of their content is them just like sitting sitting around talking about tech stuff, drinking a beer, having a good time. They talk about Tom Wheeler and the FCC a lot like we do. So
what you're saying is it's like us if we were more successful.
Yeah.
They're a lot more technology focused, so I wouldn't say that, but pretty close. And then last thing of 2014, this podcast. We started this podcast in 2014. We've been going for quite a while.
Since August, right?
Yeah, or somewhere around then. So we've been doing
it was September.
Yeah, I think it's longer than August. But
yeah, I remember we started off with, on my side anyway, we started off with one SM57 recording 3 people.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
And now we are up to an AT 2020. There's an SM57 in a drawer somewhere because it's not quite as good for vocals. And then I bought a bunch of these stick mics for super cheap.
Yeah, I bought
thanks to Justin.
I bought an AT 4040 because I was going to use it to record audio for my YouTube channel that I still haven't started. So yeah, that's a thing, but I have it for this podcast.
Speaking of YouTube channels, tune into Midgard Studios and Gehrig the Gamer.
Yeah, little plug there. Gotta plug ourselves.
Now back to our regular
See, I didn't have to be shameless right there. I just had to be like, all right, it's happening.
Yeah.
I was being the shameless one that time.
So I've been set for audio for a while. I just only use it for this podcast.
Yeah.
Even though I bought it for something completely different, but it still gets used.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We have a section for 2015 stuff.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that.
Yeah.
So
I'll be talking about that. So that's my stuff of 2014. So.
Am I going next? Is that how this is working?
You're going
all right.
next.
So I would like to thank all the games that actually worked this year.
Yeah.
Let's see, which ones did work? Unity.
All of them.
None of them.
Battlefield 4 was last year, wasn't it?
There was
they all
so
worked.
many.
They just had lots of
worked.
features in them.
It was a bad year of just.
The Master Chief Collection didn't work on
Yeah, but
some of it still doesn't work.
I forgive them because they gave people free games.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I forgive them, but some of it still doesn't work, so I wish they would fix it. But
yeah, I don't know. This year was screwed up because we just got so used to the same old system of pre-order, and it'll come out, and I'll play it, and it'll be enjoyable, but they fucked us with that this year.
Yeah.
Hard.
So, boycotting that shit. So then I'll move on to CSGO. It's a game that I got...
Counter-Strike Global Offensive, I do believe, is what it's fully called, kids.
Yes. You do believe, really.
Yeah.
But it's a game that I started playing more intensely, I think, when was it? Like June? Yeah, I think like June.
I remember you starting to bitch about your friends because of it about June, yeah.
Yeah, so...
FPS games will do that to you.
Let's see. Up till last week, it was they just keep calling me a rage quitter and a motherfucker. And
they might find this. No, I'm just kidding. But
shout out to Joe and Colton.
Okay, we're done. They're gonna find them eventually.
I'm just.
But it's a really cool game. I mean, if you like shooters and stuff, it's a bit more hardcore. So if you're into that kind of thing, go for it and own a computer. Then Destiny, because it was fun for the 3 weeks that I played it. I loved that game. And I haven't begun to play the new update at all. I haven't touched it. So I'm just like, it could be better.
I just started playing again, and I lone wolf it because I'm a lonely, friendless person on Xbox.
Also because I own it, but I own it on a different console than you.
Well, Gehrig owns it on a different console. He's got it for PS4. You're on Xbox One. I'm on 360.
You guys can't play together?
Nope.
No.
Oh, that's a design oversight, isn't
Yes, it is.
God!
Yeah. That's how it works. I might be switching to PS4 soon, so there's that.
Fuck yeah,
so now you all just need to pool your resources and get me a PS4.
Yeah.
And then we can
get right on.
I'll get right on buying you something super expensive like that. Totally.
Yes, thank you.
Tax return.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, Destiny was one of my big ones too. Like, even though I only played it for like 10 hours in 2014, I had a lot of fun with it, especially when I hit the moon area. And I really like it.
I think I have 140 something hours in that.
Probably piece of shit.
It was like I hated the system for like leveling up armor and everything, and finding those damn fucking like iron fucking relics, and I was like,
it's gotten better.
I know it's gotten better, but it fucking bullshit.
Fucking hate that game and love that game. I can't stand it.
But I did get to 29, and I was like, yeah, I'm 29. All right.
I did the same. I actually have played since the last DLC, so I'm up to, I might be 31 now, because you can get to like 30 or 31 without raid gear. Like I said, I love that game and I hate that game. I hate it, I bitch about it, but I play it all goddamn time. It bugs me. And the only thing that I hate about it is there's no goddamn story. If they would give me a story, I would praise the game all day long.
For years. Yeah.
All day long.
See, whereas, like, I know it doesn't actually sound like him, but I wish they would release audiobooks as read by Peter Dinklage as the ghost.
Something. I just want a story. I want a story in that game, and everybody's like, oh, go read the Grimoire. 1, have read the Grimoire. 2, that's not a story. That's a backstory. No. It's not a goddamn story.
And that's not what's happening right now to my character.
I would love to tell you about the fucking shit that's going on, but we have more pressing matters. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even have time to tell you why I don't have time to tell you what the fuck is going on in this game. It's like, oh, great, I'm glad you took the time to fucking tell me that.
It's funny because that's a quote from the game.
That is a quote.
You could have told me the whole thing.
I saw that cutscene today.
Like, there's three cutscenes in the game, maybe 4, and all of them are basically people telling you, yeah, I could tell you what's going on, but just go shoot some stuff and it'll be cool.
Level up, you'll be okay.
It's like, look,
bring us the head of a gatekeeper.
I was already gonna go shoot a bunch of shit. Just tell me why I'm shooting shit and why I should care that I'm shooting it, and then I'll love your game. That's all I want. Give me a reason to care that I'm shooting stuff.
Now watch, all of that will be in the last DLC.
If it is, then awesome, because I was an idiot and pre-ordered the digital collector edition or whatever the fuck it was called, so I have all the DLCs.
I haven't even touched fucking Crota yet.
I just want them to give me a story, and then the game will be amazing, because the gameplay is solid, the audio is solid, the actual, like, tied into the audio.
It looks pretty, even on the 360.
It is very pretty. Almost everything is spot on. A lot of people hate the grinding and the repetitiveness. I don't give a shit about that. It's basically like an MMO. I love MMOs. If you didn't know that's what you were getting into, then you didn't really look into what you were buying. I just want the story.
Let's be completely honest. Yeah, this is the only MMO I actually enjoy playing. Like, because I want to say like 6 characters to level 20 in WoW, mostly because my friends kept jumping servers. But I can't say, other than spending time with my friends, I did not enjoy a single goddamn moment of WoW, personally. Yeah. Like, it's just a really boring-ass game. I actually really love the mechanic and just shooting shit in Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
It's really good. I hate the multiplayer, but that's fine. Whatever.
Dude, I love the multiplayer.
When I play an F.
Welcome to the Gehrig and Jason argument.
I'm trying. I don't want to like get in the way of this because it's funny as hell.
One second. When I play an FPS shooter, I want it to be fucking balanced. There's no goddamn balance in that game. There's not any. They didn't give a shit.
I've
They're
gone
just
on huge kill streaks just because
they're just
it's
like,
unbalanced.
fuck it. Just put whatever.
The frustration is strong with this one.
Hit kills. Who gives a shit? Just go
play
fucking
the
crazy.
Titan. If you just play the Titan, it'll all be okay.
Fuck
the Titan trade. I'm a fucking superhero.
The Titan's bullshit because it gets an area of effect 1-hit kill super, and it gets a 1-hit melee. And a shield when it runs around.
I've killed whole teams with my Titan. I don't even care.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to be the one keeping everything in order.
I am. Okay. I'm working on it. Yeah. I was laughing too goddamn hard.
Okay, go.
I'm waiting for the next thing on Gary.
Yeah, Gary, hey.
We're moving forward.
Move forward.
I think it was March. Yeah, March I posted. First, did it come out in March? Okay.
I don't remember.
But I posted a video for Dark Souls 2, and it got 1,700 videos before I lost that channel, and it was just fucking amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Wow.
You know.
I had no idea you were so popular.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
not.
at all.
Not anymore.
Do that.
That wasn't then. It was like 36 people. And then 2 goddamn many survival games. Like, the fuck?
Honestly, my favorite of the year is Contagion.
Well, Contagion's good, okay? That's not a survival game, really. It's more of a horror game.
Well, it kind of is.
You've got walking simulators aplenty coming on Steam, and they're fucking early access.
And none of them are finished.
None of them are fucking
fucking early access. I fucking hate it.
Bullshit, because it's just like, look at DayZ. That game shouldn't be a game. That is not a game.
I'm gonna add to my things of 2014 something I hate, and that's fucking early access. There's so much shitty early access games, and then they just never fucking come out.
Like, I don't know. It's just bad. I know. I hate it.
Could you make sure to type that for me so I have it in our list of shit?
Anger that is towards DayZ. That's all I feel.
Well, he can do it.
Okay.
Tis shit anyway. Okay, Tayson. Looks like
I'm up.
you're up.
3 things.
Well-
Wow, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Well, let's see. I started my YouTube channel with my dear and loving wife. And this podcast. That's great.
Yes.
I got married.
Yeah,
that was
you got
good
married,
for me.
bro.
That's kind of important.
No,
Yeah.
it's not important.
Kind of a bad
important.
thing to have as an afterthought. Oh yeah, I got married.
Wait a minute, I'm married. Oh god.
We'll edit that. We'll edit that. Put that first.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's be like, we have that kind of relationship where we've been married since like about month 3.
Yeah.
It's just it wasn't official until
There wasn't a ceremony.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but
It was horrible. What?
the ceremony or the us
You
being
guys being married
moving on.
since
Yeah.
month 3?
Moving on,
Terrible.
people
Okay.
in the audience actually might know about.
They know about
Yeah.
Savvy. Come on.
Yeah, but they don't know about a personal relationship between 2 different people on the podcast.
Ow.
Moving on. Well, like, and this year was actually a decent year for movies. There was things like Gone Girl, Big Hero 6 was really
That
good.
Fucking amazing.
But my favorites were definitely the marbles of Big Hero 6, technically. But I loved Winter Soldier, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, it is my new Star Wars. It really is.
Yeah.
And that is on my list of things that I liked this year. I mean, yeah, I'm not like totally on the bandwagon with Marvel stuff like completely, but that was a very well done movie.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yes.
And speaking of, I mean, that just are you?
I'm done. I'm trying to hurry this along. Go.
No, that's fine because that leads right in because I was just gonna say first thing, movies that were good of 2014 that I liked. Guardians of the Galaxy was probably top of that list. Right next to Interstellar, I really liked. There had issues, but for what I went to it for, I really liked it.
Yeah.
The Equalizer was really, really, really good. Like I know there's a lot of movies now about some kindly.
It's a dad movie.
Fellow with a lot of skills.
Yeah.
Skills that make him a nightmare.
For people like you.
But they didn't just follow the same formula. They did a really good job. So, Edge of Tomorrow was really, really good. Like more so than people led me to believe it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then finally, that show, The Maze Runner. I don't know if you guys saw that.
The only person I know that's seen that is a 16-year-old girl.
Wasn't that
You know
written
what?
by
We've
a
Heard of
Mormon?
it.
I don't
think it
know.
was
I don't know.
written by
All I
Mormon.
know is I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be that good, and it actually wasn't that bad.
Huh.
So I was surprised by it.
And my video is lost.
It was lost a long time ago.
Lovely.
Oh, no.
Okay, 2 more things real quick. The Rosetta Probe landing. I think that was cool.
That was awesome.
I like the fact that we did that shit as a species. And then the fact that fusion reactor stuff, research is actually it's been perpetually 35 years in the future, and there's been a lot of shit that happened this last year. Papers that came out theoretically proving concepts, and now they're actually building that shit.
It's been a really big year in science.
Yeah.
Like,
So
all sorts of rockets and new, like, I was reading an article today, they, like, grew muscle.
Yeah.
well, that's actually on the list
Yeah.
of my shit for
Yeah, I saw it.
2015. So if we want to go through that, I don't know if we have time.
No, like, I'm wrapping it up.
Okay, we're wrapping it up.
But, so, real quick, name one thing you're looking forward to next year. Go, Gehrig.
I can't do one.
Do 2 then.
Okay, you can say them, just say them
I don't know.
fast.
Streaming and YouTubing more in RTX.
Yeah. Jason, go.
Mine are going to be games that actually work.
Yeah.
Starting my YouTube channel, as I said before, and then to throw in a third, RTX in August.
Yay. For me, definitely RTX. To do something slightly less personal, definitely looking forward to Age of Ultron, even though I'm probably going to be depressed about it. Chappie looks like a reverse of iRobot. That one looks really good. And video games that I probably won't play, but I'll sit there and be like, oh, I want to play.
He'll find it on Steam and be like, it's $10. Buy.
Like fucking Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
Man.
That shit.
I want that game so bad. Anyway, Justin.
Oh, right. Okay. Things I'm looking forward to, seeing SpaceX finally do their landing shit, right? Might happen on the 26th of January, right? So yippee. Okay. Also, along that line, more research into the Skylon space, single staged orbit space plane, because I really like that concept, and they're working on it. Fun stuff. Really, you mentioned some other stuff, but really, there's too much science for me to mention right now. So, science in general, science for 2015.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, and self-tying
laces
that's
for
Nikes. That sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah, they're unveiling that this year,
I want
too.
some.
Oh, God.
That's pretty cool.
Like,
just because we can, we have the technology.
We can rebuild him.
To make him lazier. Can't tie his
Well, we can't make robotic hands that can tie shoelaces. I got it. We'll just make it so they don't have to tie shoelaces.
Let's just be honest here. Things I figured out this year I can do from my phone. Buy groceries. Buy beer.
You can have it all shipped to you too. You don't even have to go.
If you live in a city center like, I don't know, Austin, you literally never have to leave your home. They will bring you food, they will bring you booze, they will bring you snacks, they will bring you clothes. Like, there are subscription services and just like on-demand services for all of that. You literally never have to leave your house. If you get a work from home job
that way,
yeah, you can. There's people that will go to the store for you and buy stuff. You can. Specifically, back to Rooster Teeth again, one of the people on the podcast was talking about how he has somebody who goes... I think was it Miles or Brandon? I think it was Brandon.
Oh, no, it was Brandon, sorry.
So he was talking about how he has people that go to the store for him, and they buy him lube and condoms.
And more stuff, too, not
stuff.
just
There's
those.
groceries and other stuff, but specifically has
important
lube and
ones.
condoms.
If I had a subscription to one of those services, I would try to screw with them the most. Like, I'd buy that kind of stuff, and then I'd buy, like, a Bugs Bunny costume, and then, like, candy.
I'd have my trash bag, the machete, and...
you are a terrible person.
What? I was going to attend a birthday party for children, and then the next day,
Anyways.
Well, actually, I wouldn't be doing anything, but...
The podcast is going a little long, so should we wrap this up?
Right,
It doesn't matter, just keep going.
Yeah,
sorry.
Let's go before things get worse.
And last thing, get home from a bar without needing a car or a taxi, technically. So that's all shit you can do from your phone now. So the world of actually having to get up and do things is slowly going away.
Which means we're going to see a lot of really, really fat people.
No. It's not that you have to get up and do things, it's that you get to get up and do things. Because the things you're doing are different.
It is a novelty. Like, I actually went to a GameStop the other day.
Yeah.
Which is first time in like 2 fucking years, because I'm like, I can get things slightly cheaper than I could on Amazon today.
Right.
Which is like a first.
Yeah, that almost never happens.
Crazy shit.
Okay.
2015,
But like it was novel just going. Okay. That's it for end user input this week. Have a good 2015. Bye.
Send me condoms.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for listening to this week's End User Input Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and favorite, and leave a comment below. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at the links provided below. Also follow the links to relevant content. See you next week!